How do I turn one rental into a scalable portfolio? Take action. Make sure you get the first one. Don't make excuses. So get that first rental locked down. Once you get the first rental, and assuming it's a smooth process, you have it stabilized, find the systems, get the systems in place to operate that rental based on what you're learning. Now, assuming you have the systems in place or you hire a property manager and you don't have to worry about any of the systems, then you're ready to start thinking about your second one. There's a number of different strategies here depending on what your financial situation is or what your goals are. But I would say you could either leverage the first one using equity, pull equity out of the first one and then buy another one. But eventually you run out of equity or you might be too highly leveraged to where it affects cash flow. But again, some people may have that first rental, no debt. You might be able to leverage that equity to continue portions of that equity to buy 2 more houses. And then you have 3 out of nowhere. And then you're looking at whatever capital position you are and you can leverage more debt or pay some things off, leverage, or just buy new houses using the down payment. You could go from there. If you aren't able to leverage equity, then you can force appreciate, meaning you're buying distressed houses to where you can force appreciation by repairing them, fixing them up, renovating them, adding value. And then you're doing a cash out. So you're forcing that appreciation, you're forcing equity into the house. Then you can leverage that equity, you pull it back out, and then you go buy more houses. You basically repeat. And so without getting deep into it on this video, you can use the BRRRR method, BRRRR, which is close to what I just outlined, but there's a number of ways to do it. But I think it starts with getting the first one, stabilizing that asset and building systems around that based on what you're learning if you're going to self-manage. Again, you can leverage, you can use HELOCs. There's a number of different things you can do, but I would say the easiest way to scale overall outside of the financial picture is create your buy box. Understand what criteria you want to invest in and don't go outside of that. You're going to have all kinds of shiny objects, and I think shiny objects will slow you down. So if your buy box is less than 1,500 square foot and 3 2s or 3 1s and a certain geographic area, if that's your buy box for your single family portfolio growth, stick with that. If you start buying the 4,000 square foot house over here and your, 2-1 houses or, quads or something like that, maybe you find that's the direction you want to go in if it works out, but it might be a distraction. It might take you away from your systems, your process. You're going to have different expenses tied to either one, different operating processes, depending on what you're buying. And so sticking to your buy box allows you to create repeatable processes to scale. If you can be consistent with your processes at scale, it's way easier to do that. The teams that you have in place, all of your real estate professionals and your construction teams or whatever, they know exactly what you're going to do. You don't even need to talk to them anymore. They know exactly just to roll with it. But if you have all these different asset types in different locations, you're going to need to spend time on each one and figure them out individually. And you're going to win and lose on some. So to scale, buy the first one, stabilize it, learn from the systems, and then use equity or use capital, in another sense, private money, to then force appreciate, get out of it, and repeat. And then focus on your buy box. Focusing on your buy box keeps you dialed in on that asset, how to acquire, how to scale, largely the same relationships involved, and go from there.